Welcome back to the Path to Prosperity series on energy. We're going to take a look at carbon pricing. Obviously, it has been much debated subject in all political circles and across different industries as it's impacting a wide range of industries. I'm interested to hear how you all see this playing out, particularly when that move does happen next year. We'll start with you, Jason. What's your thoughts on the subject?
Well, we support the Australia's emissions reduction target, which has bipartisan support of 5% by 2020. We believe it's important for Australia to prepare for a carbon-constrained global economy, and in order for us to operate and achieve the necessary emissions target, the most efficient way of doing that is to have a internationally linked, market-based price on carbon. So, in addition to that, we support the renewable energy scheme, which again has bipartisan support, and as Miles said, has been operating for just over 12 years. So we think between those two schemes, that's the most efficient way of preparing the economy for it. I think it's important for government to send market signals and then let the market figure out the lowest cost solution for reducing emissions.
Yeah. Miles, what's your view?
I think if you look over the long term, it's inevitable that we will have carbon pricing in some form. In the long term, we must have that. If we're serious about doing something about climate change, we will need some form of market pricing for carbon. So it really just comes down to how are you going to do it and when are you going to do it. And unfortunately in Australia that's become a political football. And I guess our view is that like the renewable energy target legislation, the best thing is to have predictability, which means on an issue where both parties fundamentally agree on what the target is, it shouldn't be too hard to work out, well, what's a mechanism to actually get there, and let's stick with that so that investors in renewable technologies, for example, but also the obligated parties under that system know what they're going to be paying or know what to expect in the future. That's really the key from our perspective.
Yeah. Frank, do you have a strong view on the subject?
Well, what you see now is you still do see bipartisan support for the 5% reduction by 2020. What you have now are two different approaches to achieve that. What that's pointing to is that with the recent announcements by Rudd, but also previous announcements by the opposition, is that you're likely to see the carbon price reduce. That carbon price reduction, I think, will, whether it be whatever mechanism, will bring that more closely in line with international markets. We do believe that there should be a price for carbon. What we believe is it should be in line with international competitive rates, and that's where you're seeing that government's moving towards now.
Yeah, and what about, I mean, you've all referred to the renewable energy target. Frank, how achievable is it? Do you think we are going to reach that target by 2020? Do you think we are on track to do that?
I think it's an enormous challenge to reach the target when you look at how much, I mean, the main technologies that will go towards achieving that target are wind energy, because it's the most mature and scalable technology. We currently have, I think, somewhere in the vicinity of 2,500 megawatts installed. For us to achieve, or for Australia to achieve its target, which is a fixed target of 45 terawatt hours by 2020, I think will require something like in excess of 10,000 megawatts installed. So that's going to be a key, that's going to be a real challenge for that to be all compressed into such a narrow time frame by the 2020. Yeah, so it'd be a challenging target to achieve.
Yeah. Do you think we're going to get there, Miles?
I do think we're going to get there. I have a different view to Frank on this point. I think if you look at the challenge of building roughly 7,000 or 8,000 megawatts of wind power generation, and of course solar PV will contribute a significant proportion as well. And you compare that task to, for example, what's going on in Queensland with LNG building, what's going on with the NBN rollout. I mean, in terms of scale, it's tiny. I think it's definitely achievable. There are plenty of good sites for wind farms to be built, that a lot of which, including ours, have permits in place. They can be built, it's just there isn't the regulatory certainty to underpin investment in those projects at the moment. I believe if you have the right regulatory signal, we will be able to achieve it.
Yeah, thank you for your comment, gentlemen. That's all we have time for in the Path to Prosperity series on energy. Make sure you join us next time when we look at the manufacturing sector.